to my channel, True Talk with Erica Salee, where I empower women to live fulfilled, to focus on well-being mentally, physically, and spiritually, and to transform into the best versions of themselves. And so if these are things that are of interest to you, then I do encourage you to, yes, subscribe to the channel, turn that notification bell on so that you know when new videos are uploaded, and yes, do share it out with your community of friends and family. So I was getting ready for the day, and I couldn't help but think about the most adorable kid in the whole wide world, and that is my 4-year-old nephew. So one time he was at my house, and I had this sweatshirt on, and he says, "Aunt Erica, why you got that on?" And I said, "Well, because I like it." And he says, "You always wear that." And I had to chuckle because he's right. And I'm sure if you scroll back through my videos on my YouTube channel, you will most definitely see one, maybe two, I don't even know how many more videos I have done in this sweatshirt. So when he reminded me that I always wear this sweatshirt, I said, well, because it's cozy and it's comfortable and I like it. And I wash it so that it's clean when I wear it. And so I should have been smart enough, though, at the time, having a conversation with a 4-year-old, and I'm thinking back to it right now. He has this stuffed animal named Zuma. For those of you who have kids, grandkids, godkids, whatever, you know that Paw Patrol is a very popular cartoon or cast of characters for small kids. His favorite one is Zuma. Zuma goes everywhere he goes. I'm talking about to the grocery store, going out to eat. He carries him around the house. We've taken him on vacation. Zuma's been on a plane. Zuma gets a lot of baths. And so when I think about that, even as I'm sharing this with you now, I should have been smart enough to go back and say, well, why do you always carry Zuma around? Okay, so now I'm rationalizing having a conversation with a small kid. All right, so back to the story. So when I got dressed this morning, I laughed at myself. I laughed at him. I thought about the conversation. I laughed a little bit more. And I said to myself, oh my gosh, my nephew's giving me a complex about putting on my sweatshirt, because in my mind I was like, well, maybe I'll put on another sweatshirt. And I started laughing again because I thought, no, I'm going to put this sweatshirt on because I like it. So here is what made me think about sharing this with you. Number one, sometimes we just have those things that make us feel good. It could be a favorite sweatshirt or sweater, maybe a favorite pair of underwear, favorite pair of shoes, your best coffee mug, your favorite kind of tea. And we need the things that are going to just make us feel good, because let's face it, we need a whole lot more of that in the world. So when you have something that brings you joy, and it could be the simplest thing. When I tell you the simplest thing, like this sweatshirt that I have on right now, then embrace that. Allow yourself to enjoy it, because sometimes it is just the simple things that make us feel a sense of joy, a sense of peace, a sense of gratitude. And I know in the transformation world, you will always hear me talking about sometimes we have to move out of our comfort zone in order for us to embrace something new. So this, though, is not that. This is, you know what, I know that there's the one thing, it's my favorite blanket. When I curl up on the couch, this is the one that makes me feel good. I'm talking about that kind of thing. That's the first thing. The second thing is that we sometimes get so focused on what other people say. If I wear this, if I do this, what are they going to say? What are they going to think? I remember when I was in middle school, and I talk about this in my first book, Pathway to Purpose, Find It, Follow It, Fulfill It, which, by the way, is available on Amazon, along with my Amazon #1 bestseller, the newest book, Finding Joy After the Storm. See, I got all tongue-tied with that. But I remember in middle school, I wore an outfit. And at the time, if you are of a certain age, this may sound familiar to you, but at the time, leg warmers were really, really popular. And I decided that I was going to wear leg warmers with a pair of cowboy boots. And I really wasn't too sure about it in the first place. I went to a neighbor. I was like, ooh, Miss Vera, how does this look? Does this look okay? And she affirmed that it did. But when I walked through the hallways at school, there's a lot of people in the hallways snickering, reminding me or conversation that, no, that doesn't look so good. So they laughed at me and they pointed at me. And so I know how it is when you do something or you say something or maybe you wear something and you're like, ooh, I don't know how this is going to look or what they're going to say. Are they going to whisper? Are they going to snicker? Now, for me, that has risen up over the course of my life several times because of the incident that I just shared with you. However, in my own growth and transformation journey, I have learned not to be as consumed with what other people say. I'm not saying sometimes I don't think about it, but I have handled it in a much better way than I did when I was in middle school and even through those adult years. So as I had this conversation with you and thinking about the most adorable child in the world, my nephew, it makes me think about the fact that sometimes we just have to let go of what other people say, what other people think, because sometimes people won't understand why we are doing something, why we are, excuse me, pursuing a dream or a goal. They may not understand a vision that we have, or they may not understand why we like certain things. And sometimes we might tend to want to explain and over explain or even ask for permission. But you and I have to get to the point where we recognize that our why is much bigger than what other people may think, what they may say, how they buy into our things, whether it's dreams, goals, visions, whatever you want to get accomplished. Maybe you want to start something. Maybe you want to pursue something. And some people might say, why are you doing that? Well, that doesn't make sense. Now, sometimes we need people's input just to circulate things through our own mind and process and make sure that we're thinking through things in a full methodical way. But at the end of the day, we have to get to a point where we say, but you know what? I'm passionate about this, or this is what I want to pursue. This is what I want to do. And I know you might not understand, but it makes me feel good, or this is my why, and it's important to me, or this is something that I've always wanted to do, and you just have to go for it. And trust and believe when you start gravitating toward your dreams and your goals and the bigger picture, people who may be around you who are focused on the smaller picture, they may not necessarily understand. Now, I'm not equating that to the cute little conversation with the most adorable child in the world, my 4-year-old nephew. That just made me think about a broader way to extend that conversation. And so that's why I wanted to share it with you. So today, as you listen to this conversation, I want you to ask yourself, am I holding back on myself or something that I want to do because somebody's questioning me and making me doubt? Or somebody's questioning me and making me rethink or think that I'm not good enough? If that is you on this day, let me be the first to tell you to drown out the noise, to not listen to people who may be naysayers and who don't perhaps have your best interest at heart. If you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, you know what, and maybe you should say this, I'm enough. This is important to me. This makes me happy. This brings me joy. This makes me feel fulfilled and purposeful. And so even if people around me don't understand it, I have to go for it anyway. I have to do it. I have to just step out there and trust that I have enough to get started. And even what I don't have, then I know as I move along the way, then everything else will fall in line. Maybe that's the conversation to listen to as opposed to other people asking you why you're doing something. So on that note, I want to hear from you. Let me know what you think about this conversation. And I do want to remind you that, yes, if this conversation that you heard is something that you want to hear more of, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Yes, turn that notification bell on. Share it out because you may be having conversations with other women who are kind of going through the same little thing in their head. I do want to say this, and then I'm going to let you get on with the rest of your day, your afternoon, your evening. The True Talk conversation is twofold. So when I say True Talk with Erica Salee, the name of this channel, you might be saying True Talk with and you fill in your name. Sometimes that True Talk kind of sounds like it's real. It sounds like, oh yeah, you know what? I'm not good enough. Oh yeah, I should listen to what other people say. That might sound like it makes sense in the moment. But the flip side, and this is where I want us to move to in these conversations here on my channel, that is the true talk with fill in your name is, but wait a minute, let me look at possibilities. Let me embrace a new truth. Okay, people over here might not understand true talk, want, want. But over here, I believe in, I trust in, I do have an idea about, and I do think that it can work. That's a new true talk that allows you to see possibilities. So I want you, as you hang out with me here, to see the distinction between the two types of talk that we sometimes get ourselves twisted in. And I want us to lean more toward the thing that is going to help us to move forward and transform into, yes, the best versions of who we are. So on that note, I look forward to seeing you all again real soon. But until I do, take care of yourselves, be well, and yes, come on back and let's continue more conversation.